everybody. I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. And today I'm going to talk about the 3 reasons why Generation X does not trust the government. Number 1, we're seeing right now with the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. There was no quick emergency response from the federal government. They send billions of dollars to fund wars overseas that we're not involved in any way. We don't have any dog in the fight. The wars shouldn't be going on in the first place. The people in the wars aren't benefiting from the wars. It's just war for the sake of war. And they're spending billions of dollars on these useless wars, but they don't have the money to take care of their own citizens in times of emergencies. Katrina, we've got many examples of this. The federal government's always a fumbling moron when it comes to, disaster relief and that kind of stuff, emergency situations. They drop the ball. They look like the Three Stooges or something. Now they finally show up there, I guess, and I'm hearing that now they're taking the supplies from people who have been gathering supplies to hand them out and money to disperse. The federal government showing up and taking the donations away from these people, and the people don't want to donate it to the federal government in the first place because they know it'll be mishandled. It's beyond ridiculous when the government, who's supposed to show up and give you things, and show up and take things. They do the exact opposite of what they're supposed to do. The entire reason they're there is to give out assistance, not take it away. And if you pay attention to my podcast at all, you know that pretty much I think it's by design. They act like bumbling idiots by design. If they actually cared, they would straighten it out. And it's not like we never have emergencies. It's not like they can't learn from their mistakes. But they never do. Somebody in Washington's got to be smart enough to learn and stand up and say, hey, but none of them do ever. So it's got to be by design. They do it on purpose. This isn't an accident. Number 2, they're constantly telling us who to trust, what the danger is. They don't just provide us with information and let us decide for ourselves. All right. They want us to trust the science and trust the doctors and their doctors. Now, if a doctor jumps up and gets on YouTube and says something contradictory to any of their information, they shut them up, cancel them. You'll never hear from them again. But they want you to trust their doctors and all this. It's a widespread thing with them. They want you to, they point out the dangers in society, right? Like, say, guns are the big danger. I've heard that forever. Now, but if you look at the statistics, medical malpractice is the third highest killer in America. The first one is heart disease, and there's another one there, some kind of disease or something, and then the third is medical malpractice. Doctors kill more people than guns. Fact. I just looked at the stats. The list I was looking at, I think, went down to number 6, and still gunshot wounds wasn't even on there yet. Stroke and these other things were on there, but I know medical malpractice was third on the list. So doctors just screwing up and messing up on their job is way more deadly than guns or any other form of death, other than the 2 above it. But and that's not statistics that they want us to know. Now, if they actually cared about us, that would be in the news. They would be telling us about this, and they would be raising money and doing things to fix it. If you have a problem that you're concerned about, you fix it. So that tells me they're not concerned about it. They're not there's no awareness about it. This medical malpractice, it transcends race, gender, all that stuff. You can't point to one certain marginalized group or one certain, everybody's a victim of this. And our government completely ignores it, completely ignores all these things that are actually hurting and killing us, but they ignore them. They don't care because it doesn't help their agenda. It doesn't move their machine forward. So they don't give a shit. And number 3, they always have been doing this, but now they're just talking about it out in the open. Bart Phipps sent me an email and with a YouTube link where John Kerry just out in the open says that democracy and the First Amendment are roadblocks to governance. It makes their job harder. It's difficult to govern a free population, basically. Now, it's difficult to govern a free population. I said that, but those are my words. But he verbatim said that the First Amendment is a roadblock and that democracy makes it difficult to govern. And they were working on changing those. Now, this is John Kerry. He said he's been doing it for 50 years and it's getting harder. Now, my problem with that is he shouldn't have been doing it for 50 years. The morons who keep voting for him are just unbelievably lost. They're brainwashed. Oh my goodness. Why would anybody keep voting someone like that in office who is out in the open trying to take your freedom? Now that dude says that democracy is a roadblock and that they are working to stop it, to change it. But then he calls other people, he wants to point the finger at other people and said that they're a threat to democracy. These twisted lies and just the hypocrisy of the propaganda, it is sometimes really, it's just unbelievable. And not that some sicko like John Kerry would get up there and talk bad about freedom and democracy and the First Amendment. I can see that. Some sick son of a bitch getting up there and actually demonizing the First Amendment. I mean, yeah, it's hard to listen to, but I can see it. But the thing that's really unbelievable is that people vote for him. People have been voting for him for 50 years, and they continue to vote for him. When he's out and out saying that he wants to take your freedom. It doesn't make any sense. I'm going to put the link that Bart sent me. I'll put that down in the description so y'all can hear it for yourselves. Hear the dude saying it. I'm not making it up. And he's just one example of where they said the First Amendment is a roadblock. And they use the words like disinformation, which is just another word for truth. Any truth that gets out is disinformation. And people fall for this shit. I just wonder if there were, people like that back in 1775. And I don't know if you've ever watched Mel Gibson's movie The Patriot, but in that movie, there were Americans who sided with the British. So maybe it's possible. So those are my 3 reasons we don't trust the government. And I have a sneaking suspicion that those governments are all over Western civilization are the same way. Canada, UK, Australia. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. If your government's awesome and looking out for you, great. I'm happy for you. But our government is inept. They're liars. And they're trying to take our freedom. And that's not debatable. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and comment. Leave your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think about it. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so by clicking on that super thanks button down there. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Or you can head over to Buy Me a Cup of Coffee and buy me a cup of coffee. I'll put that link down in the description. If you're interested in Gen X gear, you can hop over to Redbubble and check that stuff out. Sweatshirts, t-shirts, stickers, coffee mugs, all that kind of cool stuff. Gen X and Gen X Thinks branded gear. And I'll put that link down in the description as well. If you can't or don't want to support the channel in any of those ways, you can do so by sharing these videos on your social media. That helps out a lot. Thank you very much for those of you who do that. And if you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Thinks, please put those down in the comments, or you can email us, and the email's over on the channel page. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.